Hello everyone, hi, I'm Shivani Maheshwari, and today we are going to start a new chapter that is tissues. In the previous chapter, we have learned about cells, and these tissues are the group of cells which combines to form a tissue. So, we are going to study the types of tissues and other things in this chapter. So, let's continue with this. So, what do you think? Are plants and animals made up of same types of tissues? So, how can we know that? So there is difference in the structure of plants and animals. So let's study about that first. Plants are stationary and hence are provided with some tissues made up of dead cells, which provide mechanical strength. They have to withstand unfavorable conditions like strong winds, storms, floods, and etc. Whereas animals, on the other hand, move around in search of food, mates, and shelter. They consume more energy as compared to plants. Most of the tissues they contain are living. Cell growth in animals is more uniform. The structural organization of organ and organ system is far more specialized and localized in complex animals than even in very complex plants. This is the structure of plant tissue, which shows that there are various parts of plant tissues. The plant tissue mainly consists of two important parts, that is meristematic tissues and the permanent tissues. The meristematic tissues are the tissues which can further grow and divide, whereas the permanent tissues are which cannot further divide. So let's continue with learning all the both the tissue types in our further slides. So plant tissues. The meristematic tissue. The growth of plants occurs only in certain specific regions. This is because the dividing tissue is also known as meristematic tissues, and these are the regions where they are present. The meristematic tissues are classified as apical meristem, intercalary meristem, and lateral meristem. So now we are going to study about apical, intercalary, and lateral meristem in detail. So apical meristem is present at the apical or growing tip of the stem or roots. Apical meristem helps in increasing the length of the plant, whereas the lateral meristem is present in the radial portion of the stem or roots. The lateral meristem increases the girth of the plant. It helps in the increasing of girth of the plant, whereas intercalary meristem occurs at the base of the leaves or at the internodes. Intercalary meristems increase the length of the internode. We studied about the meristematic tissues in the previous slide, which says that it has the capacity to divide and grow further. Now we are going to learn about meristematic tissues. The old meristematic cells lose the capacity to divide and transform into permanent tissues. This process of taking a permanent shape, size, and function is known as differentiation. These cells, which have lost their capacity to divide but are specific to provide strength, flexibility, and elasticity to the plant. These tissues can be further classified into simple permanent, complex permanent, and special tissues. The simple permanent can be categorized into three main categories according to their functions, that is parenchyma cell or parenchyma tissues, collenchyma tissues, and sclerenchyma tissues based on their functions. So let's study about this parenchyma tissue. This is the structure, and these are the parenchyma cells. When we see these cells nicely under the microscope, this kind of structure is visible. So, parenchyma cells are the living cells. These are usually loosely packed, so they have spaces between them. This tissue provides support to plants and also stores food. In some situations, it contains chlorophyll and performs photosynthesis. And then it is also known as sclerenchyma. Parenchyma, which contain large air cavities in aquatic plants, are known as aerenchyma. This aerenchyma helps in buoyancy. The next is collenchyma tissue. This is the structure of collenchyma tissue. It has the wall thickenings. The inner part, which is blue in color, is nucleus. The inner space is known as vacuole, and the outer layer, which protects this, is known as cell wall. So this is how the structure is observed when we see under microscope. Collenchyma, these are elongated living cells with a small intercellular spaces. Their cell walls are made up of cellulose and pectins. Collenchyma occur in the peripheral region of the stems and leaves to provide mechanical support and flexibility in the plants. So these structures are usually present in the stem and in the leaves, and it support a mechanical support, and they are responsible for the flexibility in the plants. Sclerenchyma tissue. So this is the structure of sclerenchyma tissue. It has the outermost layer epidermis, also the endodermis. This inner part is known as cortex, which is parenchyma cells. This is pericycle. The inner part is endodermis. The things that you can observe here is the root hairs. The innermost portion is known as xylem, and this portion is known as phloem. This is the structure, how simple pit pair looks like, and how a narrow lumen lignified think wall looks like. So this is sclerenchyma tissue. These are long, dead cells with the deposit of lignin in their cell wall. They have no intercellular spaces. So you can see that there are no spaces present here. Sclerenchyma occurs around the vascular tissues in stems, in the veins of the leaves, and in the hard covering of seeds and nuts. These are also responsible for providing the strength to the plant. Epidermis aids in the protection against loss of water, mechanical injury, and invasion by parasitic fungi. Since it has a protective role to play, the cell of epidermal tissues form a continuous layer without intercellular spaces. The epidermis of the leaves contains small pores known as stomata. These are necessary for gaseous exchange and transpiration. The cork is known as the outer layer, which is a protective tissue which replaces the epidermal cells in the older roots and stems. Cork cells are dead and lack the intercellular spaces. Their cell walls are thickened by suberin, which makes them impermeable to water and gas molecules. Now we are heading towards the complex permanent tissue. So complex permanent tissue includes two main important vessels, that is xylem and phloem. So we are going to study about xylem first. So xylem is usually responsible for the transport of water and minerals through vessels, element, and tracheids, which are dead at maturity and have a primary and secondary cell wall in the pit. The secondary wall is thin or missing, allowing the water to flow laterally. So these structures that you can see is known as tracheids, and the outer layer is known as parenchyma cells. These kind of plate which allow water to pass through them is known as perforable plate. This is the vessel element. The outside one is the parenchyma cell, as we saw here in this structure. These are tracheids, and the inner is the secondary cell wall, whereas the outer one is the primary cell wall. So this is how a xylem looks like. So complex permanent tissue comprises of conducting tissues called as xylem and phloem. Xylem is useful in transport of water and soluble substances. Xylem consists of tracheids, vessels, fibers, and xylem parenchyma. Transport of minerals and waters is unidirectional in xylem. So xylem carries all the water minerals, all the inorganic soluble materials from the roots to the aerial parts of the plant. And this is always a unidirectional process. The next is the phloem. The phloem is useful in transport of food molecules. The phloem comprises of sieve tubes, sieve cells, companion cells, phloem fibers, and phloem parenchyma. Phloem is unlike xylem in that materials can move in both the directions. So as we studied in the xylem, that it is a process which is only unidirectional, which takes the water and the soluble minerals from roots to the aerial part of the plant, whereas phloem is both the direction it can take, from above to below and from below to above. So here we can see that this is the structure of phloem. The outer covering is a parenchyma cell. This is the bundle sheath. This is vacuole, and these are chloroplast cells which are responsible for photosynthesis. These are companion cell nucleus and vacuoles. It contains various parts, that is sieve tube elements and sieve plates. These are the structure of sieve tube elements and sieve plate. This is intermediary cell. This is the above one is a plasmodemata. So phloem transports the sugar and other items in angiosperm and different types of the cells. So sieve tubes in angiosperms elements contain the sugar solution. Sieve tube cells are surrounded by various support cells. So as we discussed in our previous slides, so there are the two types. So this is the primary sclerenchyma, collenchyma and parenchyma structures, whereas the complex permanent tissues are phloem and xylem. So these are the structures, and you can observe that it is nicely labeled, so you can learn this and you can understand the working of phloem, xylem, sclerenchyma, parenchyma and collenchyma cells. So just to revise all the cell tissues, I am just revising everything once more. So sclerenchyma mainly consists of dead cells that have primary and secondary cell wall which provides support to the plant, whereas collenchyma are also functions in the support through though they are living. So even if they are living cells, they are also responsible for providing the support to the plant structure. Parenchyma cells are the unspecialized cells that carry out most of the plant's metabolism. Parenchyma cells with chloroplasts are known as sclerenchyma cells. So these are responsible for the photosynthesis, which is the process of making the own plant's food so that they can survive on it. The next is xylem. Xylem transports water and minerals through vessel elements and tracheids which are dead at maturity and have a primary and secondary cell wall. In pits, the secondary cell wall is thin or missing, allowing water to flow laterally, and xylem is always unidirectional. It takes the water and other soluble inorganic molecules from roots to the aerial parts of the plant, whereas phloem, it is bit different from that of working of xylem. Phloem transports sugar and other different materials from different parts of the plants. It may be from leaves to the roots or stem to the leaves. So it is always bidirectional. It can move from above to lower end or lower to above end. So in angiosperms, sieve tube elements contained in the sugar solution, and sieve tube cells are surrounded by various support cells. So this is overview of all these structure. In next slide, we are going to study about the animal tissues. So let's continue.